And
One.
hello, everybody, and welcome to the Waterdhavian Job. This is week 15, I believe. I'm your DM, Brad, joined to me today by three of my players. Morton is without power due to, rogue thunderstorms, and Elise is got a bit of a migraine headache for today, so it's taking the week off. So we have James, Mike, and Zach today with us, and we will be continuing from where we left off. James is the only player that was here last week, but he refuses to do the recap. Due to
I don't
already
remember.
already having inspiration, and apparently doesn't actually pay attention to this game, so fun, I guess. So, I guess I will attempt to recount what happened last time. So, I believe last time we picked off right after you guys had successfully retrieved the Celestite unicorn from within Blue Alley. Um, this was at the time that Olivar and Sir Reginald were carrying the statue when they heard a strange voice echoing through their minds. This sort of like feminine sounding voice. And upon realizing this, sort of relayed that information to Valerie, who in turn basically contacted the statue and heard the voice as well. The voice said that it was a unicorn by the name of Primara that had been transfigured into this state by an evil sorcerer long, long ago, and has since basically exchanged hands many times before winding up trapped within the Blue Alley, having been taken from the previous owner's sort of estate. Um, she sort of spoke a little bit with the party. Doesn't remember much, having been trapped in this form for so long. Cannot really remember much of her life before, but does remember basically serving with a mighty paladin and riding into battle against an evil sorcerer, a battle that unfortunately did not end too well for her or her companion, as she was transfigured by a powerful magic, which Valerie and Arya deduced through the use of magic and sort of their own understanding thereof, that it was none other than the ninth level spell True Polymorph that had transfigured this unicorn into an actual unicorn statue. Um, Now, such a thing is reversible. However, it requires either substantial luck or substantially powerful magic in order to do so, both of which are currently beyond the party's capabilities. So, when they went to go deliver the statue to Mert and found out that he wasn't there, they decided to keep the statue for themselves for the time being, and wished to speak with Mert more directly about this, rather than delivering it to his mansion and receiving their large windfall as they had originally planned. Um, so they returned to the Troll Skull Manor, bearing the statue in tow, and found that Sheldrake was there with a mysterious figure whom they had not met before. But quick introductions were made, and the half elven bard, it seemed like, based on his attire, an entertainer of some sorts, introduced himself as Davil Starsong, a associate of Sheldrake's and part of a member of a league of merchants known as the Zentarum. Uh, he basically came to the Trollskull Manor in order to offer the party a reward that the sailor they had saved put forth, totaling 250 gold pieces. And they also wished to provide the party with another job, another request, explaining basically that the City Watch was sort of on their tail due to the rogue faction within their own organization having using the name for nefarious ends, the City Watch was on their case, and they needed somebody unconnected to go and make a delivery for them. A client had ordered some potions from another member of this merchant league by the name of Schemo Weirdbottle, and these potions needed to be picked up and delivered to the client at the Godcatcher statue in the market district. The party figured that it would be a simple, quick, and easy job, so they accepted it and pretty much went about doing so almost immediately. Made their way to the trades ward. It was getting pretty late at night, but they managed to arrive in time before the store closed down. They received the package, inspected the goods somewhat, and then made their way to the Godcatcher, where they dropped it off in the carriage of a noble woman of some regard, though they could not make out her identity. She was obscuring her face and purposely manipulating her voice so as not to be recognizable. But they dropped it off and received a small satchel of platinum coins in return, 25 platinum coins in total, before they began to return home. That night they sat down for bed, and the following morning, as they were all gathered around, a strange sort of origami bird flew in through the window and began unfolding itself on the table in front of them, revealing a letter from Mert that explained that he was curious as to why they would refuse the delivery of his statue, but agreed to meet with them at a place of his choosing. The letter contained tickets to an opera later that night. I believe it was at like the Light Song Theater or something of those that like. But you have the tickets. They are tickets to an opera. I forget what it's called here. It doesn't really matter. But you have them, and so that was that. And other than that, the party decided that that day they were going to once more attempt to return to Blue Alley and perhaps try to get past that last room that had thwarted them and almost suffocated Sir Reginald. Unfortunately, upon arriving there, they found out that the Blue Alley was currently closed for the holidays. Rather funnily enough, and they could not venture any further within, as it had been sealed off for the day, in celebration of the holiday of Bright Swords. Resigning themselves that they shall not progress within Blue Alley for the day, they decided instead to head down to the dock ward and check out the Sea Maiden's Fair, as they had learned earlier in their investigations that there was something of a celebration being put on the holiday by the Sea Maiden's Fair. And when they arrived, they found the docks had been sort of set up in this large festival where there were a number of games and entertainment, all relating to the overall theme of Bright Swords, that being sort of martial prowess and combat abilities, showing off your skill at arms and whatnot. There were stalls to demonstrate strength, archery contests. They passed by what appeared to be some sort of fighting ring where challengers would enter and attempt to defeat this construct that was owned by the Sea Maiden's Fair, which the captain, Zarda Zord, who emerged shortly during an intermission between a battle, introduced as a Nimblewright from the Technomancers of Luskin. The party watched this for a bit before leaving and seeking some other games. Bassick entered into an archery contest that was totally rigged against anybody, being provided with a short bow to shoot a target that was just outside of optimal range. He was trying to hit the bullseye, but making shots at disadvantage, and unfortunately could not land it, but he did receive a conciliatory prize, which he handed off to a small child. And I believe at that point, having had your fill of the festivities down at the dock ward, and it was getting sort of later in the day, you all retired to the yawning portal for lunchtime in order to decide what to do with the rest of your day, and kind of convene together to maybe discuss a little bit more about your plans for that night, which would involve going to the theater in order to see this opera and speak with Mert. So, we pick things off. The group is at the around a table in the yawning portal. You have subsequently called for your missing compatriots and have arranged to meet up at the tavern. So you all are there. The three of you. Arya is there as well, although she seems to be sort of
She has a migraine.
considering something. Yeah, a bit of a migraine. And I think she very quickly sort of excuses herself, saying that she has to go meet with somebody about some important business. So, with that, the three of you are left there. Bask as well, similarly, sort of excuses himself to return to the manor.
So, he has to go mystery meat hunting.
He's got to go get those rats. So, you are all at the Yawning Portal tap room. I will say, it has been a day since you guys went into Blue Alley, so I believe that Sir Reginald and Olivar should have benefited from a long rest between then and now. So you should be basically full up.
Good to know.
All right.
Nice. All right.
So question before, like, since I wasn't here last episode, are there any speculations to whether we don't trust Mert? Like,
not really.
We don't suspect any like foul play or that he knows what's going on.
Not really. I've not picked up on anything.
All right.
I think Arya was a bit suspicious, but I don't know. She seems like the type of character that usually is.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, yes. So you're all here. So I suppose Valerie would say it's like, so anyone have anything that they think we should do?
Well, what's all on the list?
The list is pretty bare at the moment, to be honest. Actually, thinking about it, have you maybe heard anything? I was like, how long has it been since you put that thing at the drop? The drop.
I have not heard anything yet.
All right.
I'll get back to you as soon as I do.
Fair enough. Well, like I say, there's just the festivities, really. The gangs aren't fighting, apparently. The festivities are going ahead, and the Blue Alley is closed, so... Other than the opera tonight, we have the whole day to kill.
Perhaps,
you do have to return. You do have to return to the manor at some point to basically clean yourselves up, as it is a formal wear attired affair. The opera.
Oh,
so.
I don't have formal wear.
Sheldrake was sent to do his best to procure something last minute for all of you at low budgets. So.
Fair enough.
Well, if Sheldrake is doing that, then my suggestion of going shopping is for now.
Well, if you need any provisions for any future endeavors, it might not be such a bad idea. I now have an explorer's pack.
As do I.
But yeah, I mean, if you guys just want to just while away the time watching the festivities, going to see basically the like Blue Angel show that the Griffin Cavalry puts on and whatnot, you could totally just kind of skip ahead a little bit. You don't have to necessarily like try to fill in all this time with a lot of nothing.
Did we get any? You said we got gold from the pirate or the pirate or dock worker we saved, or
There it was the. You mean for delivering the potions? That was from the Zentarum dude.
Yeah.
No.
We got paid for
Didn't
that.
we get like 250 gold or something from as a reward for saving the dude in the alley where Dricken died? So?
No, we probably almost barely escaped jail for that.
No,
The guy
Davil's Star Song basically brought you guys a basically that sailor gave him like his life savings to pass on to you guys for saving his life.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, that money was
which
divvied
was
up.
split up 3 ways from the people that were still there. So yeah.
I think you would have. I think Brad added it to your sheet, Zach.
Did he?
Yeah, I remember somebody got some, and I believe I added it on. So I think that I put it
I have
onto original
273 gold.
Um,
That is more than I thought I had.
Yep. There you go.
yes. Yeah, I believe I put the split on. I think I added like 80 something to yours.
Mm-hmm.
They decided not to give Olivar any because he wasn't involved,
Yeah.
I guess. And then you weren't there also during the delivery, so.
All right. Well, unless anyone has
But I
anything
mean, really,
specific they
like
want.
all this gold isn't like an individual thing. Like it's all. I don't know why you're splitting it up because you need it to renovate the tavern as like a group. So.
But that. Don't worry, I'm gonna have that discussion. But I was hoping we could get 1,000 first. Anyway, unless anyone has any thing they want to do, I'm fine with just whiling away the time until the opera.
Yeah, I did my shopping off air.
All right, so then it seems to me like you guys will return to Troll Skull Alley, wherein you will meet with Sheldrake, who has procured some sort of formal attire for the lot of you. Oliver, you're like you're a noble, so you already have basically like suitable clothes. So basically, so Reginald, he kind of provides you with this more like formal kind of like butler's attire. And yeah, you guys get yourself dressed up. No armor or anything of those likes. But just sort of dressed up in formal attire. And it is now later in the night. And it's about time, basically now, as you are getting dressed, to begin to head out towards your destination.
Valerie's kind of looking forward to the opera. Not gonna lie.
Oliver is already struggling to keep his eyes open.
Not a big
swaying in the street.
Not a big partaker of the arts. So the theater in question, that being the Light Singer Theater, is a high-end establishment located in the Castle Ward. You would know basically the address, and you head there, dressed up as you are. As you are making your way there, it's kind of later in the night. You see, like the streets aren't really full of like a lot of people. It seems to be sort of like dying down. You make your way to the opera house in the Castle Ward. We'll just say it's like somewhere around here. Can I get the three of you to make me a perception check as you're making your way through the streets?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In turn, I will roll.
I rolled a 19. Holy crap.
You rolled a number. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so let me see here. All right. 20 and...
I see you're looking forward to the opera as well, my lady.
Of course.
All right. So Valerie, as you're making your
Yes.
way to the opera, you're most of the way there. When you notice, basically, you've seen some like sort of movement in the alleyways to the side and whatnot. You notice that from behind you, a group of people seems to have emerged a few blocks back and is following you from a distance.
Interesting. All right. Well, Valerie, as like she's continuing to walk, like she'll sort of say to her two companions either side of her. I imagine she's in the middle. She's like, don't break pace or try and look behind you, but I think we've caught a tail.
How many?
Did I see how many, Brad, or get an inclination?
Um, Again, it's kind of like a bit crowded. It looked to be somewhere like maybe two or three men. It's not a whole lot. Like it's not a big group. Um,
Yeah.
but just like a couple guys that you saw that seem to be obviously like you catch glimpses of them in the crowd every so often as you look back.
Yeah. Valerie will say it's like, well, it's a bit crowded, but I would say about two, maybe three at most. That's at least who I saw anyway.
Let's make a few extra turns just to see if this is actually the case.
True enough. I guess we'll like try and maybe take a few extra unnecessary turns down different streets and alleyways then.
Sure. All right,
Just
yeah.
to
So
confirm that we're being followed.
you cut off down like a side street or whatever, a little bit less like crowded, so you can get a better idea. And it does seem as though they are kind of following after you. And you notice at one point one of them seems to kind of like grab like the collar of their jacket, and they're wearing sort of like these like black overcoat jackets. And you catch the like glint of steel at one of their belts. They kind of like grab the inside of their jacket, like whispering into it or something. And a few moments later, as you're like coming back up to where like the main street is, you see basically what looks like a number of like a big pile of crates that had been like stacked up outside of some sort of business topples over in front of your path. And you see that a figure is standing sort of there on the other side. This one dressed a little bit more ruggedly. You see they have like a black cloak over their head, dark black leather armors, and their sleeves are basically have been like torn off. And you see they have these sort of massive biceps with this tattoo of this winged snake that basically goes down the full length of their arm. And he basically steps forward, like stopping you basically in your path with these barrels. And he says, "You've made some contact with some interesting associates. We have a few questions for you, if you don't mind." And you see basically as he's stepping up in front of you, these two figures that had been following you are basically following up behind you, kind of cutting off the other path.
Fucking the book's ready.
The winged snake, remind me, is that Xanathar's guild?
Nope.
No, it's the other ones. Was it Zentrum?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No. Wait, winged snake is Zentrum?
Yes.
Yep.
Ah.
Xanathar's is like what is it?
The
Is
eye?
it 6 or 8 eyes?
So there's a few different ones, but the main one is like an eyeball with like 10 spokes coming off of it.
Right. Fair enough. Alright, well yeah, so they've came up on us and dumped some boxes to purposely box us in. Like, Valerie would, take up like a battle ready stance and she'd say, what's this about? Why are you tailing us?
And he says,
I'll face the two behind us and draw my rapier.
Sure. So yeah, you're kind of like behind Valerie and Reginald are more like in the front. And he just sort of says, "We saw you meeting with somebody earlier." And he says, "We were curious about what business you were discussing with them." He says, "You see, well, the way things are going in this city, they're in for a rough turn of things, and I'm afraid you don't want to be caught on the wrong side of it, so just tell us what we want to know, and perhaps we'll let you be on our way."
I think Valerie would probably say it's like, the business that I have is between me and those involved. I don't really see how it concerns you at all.
And he just sort of like sighs and he says, "I see. Unfortunate then. Well, just to beat it out of your skulls. And he like whistles loudly, and the two men like draw weapons behind you, and he similarly like draws a couple of weapons. And let us pop over.
Isn't this a crowded street? Are there
No,
witnesses?
you purposely went out of the way to like take side streets. So it's now less
we
crowded.
did.
Yeah, but
yes.
you said it was only less crowded.
Less crowded, yes. But in this particular area, there are no people.
Oh, okay.
I
well,
mean,
let's
even
kill
if there
them,
were,
boys.
they wouldn't care.
Let's kill them, boys. It's fine. There's no witnesses.
So you can sort of arrange yourselves in this little like square, basically here, kind of how you would have been, knowing that these are the guys that were following you, and this is the guy that sort of stepped in front. And then
I can put myself between Valerie and him is what I would have done, because Valerie could still talk over me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think.
I guess I'll be against the.
I think this is probably
well.
like. Yeah, I think that's probably about right. To be honest. I just wanted to see the opera. You sort of hear Valerie mumble Sir Reginald.
And I should note that none of you are currently wearing any armor, so take that into account.
Good. Who cares? I've never worn armor
Yes.
before.
Take that into account.
Oh no!
With your armor class, Valerie.
Very well. I have 12 AC. I'll just need to remember that.
And you, Valerie, are the first to react at seeing that these people have gone hostile and drawn weapons. The one in front of you seems to have a scimitar in one hand and like a dagger in the other. And then the ones behind you are wielding these sort of like heavy cudgels in their hands, kind of smirking. I mean, you see they are similarly sort of like tattooed with these winged snake marks.
Ooh. Very well then. Let's see. So this guy is that. He's like that. How does the spell work? Each creature in the line.
Yikes.
Can you do your thing if I'm as long as I'm adjacent to you? Is that how it works?
What do you mean my thing?
Actually, it doesn't matter. I can split movement, can't I?
my...
Your feet. Yeah, your defender feet or whatever.
Yeah, you just gotta be within 5 feet of me.
Alright, fair enough. Alright, what I'll do is, I'll step 5 feet down here so I don't hit Sir Reginald. And I will... Yeah, I suppose what Valerie would do is... how would this... Yeah, it's a line. So I guess you take out, like, this bubbling, like, you know, glass vial that sort of looks like maybe the glass is melting on the inside. And then she'll chuck it at him. Is that gonna... first level. Yes, there we go.
All right, casting Tasha's Caustic Brew. So this stream of acid, basically you take this acid vial, throw it forward, and maybe like sort of shoot something at it to cause it to like explode outwards into this line, 30 foot long. So you're just targeting him with it. And okay, each creature must make a Dexterity saving throw against your spell DC of 14. So
Fail.
He does not fail. He rolls a 19 total, a 14 plus 5. With that, he ducks out of the way at the last minute of this acid, which just splashes against the street and some of the furniture, like sizzling it and searing burn marks into it.
Well, I tried. That's my turn.
Okay.
Is this a bush or a tree, by the way?
It's like a bush.
Okay, so he can... I mean, I'm assuming he can probably walk through it, but it'd be difficult terrain.
I mean,
Or is it like immovable? Is this an immovable bush?
No, I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't really like inhibit anybody in any way. It's like it's like a low
got
bush.
it.
It's not like a big, thick, heavy bush.
It's a shrubbery.
Yeah, this is like a city. There's not really like huge.
A shrubbery.
I'm gonna run up. Bonus action. I'm gonna rage. And I'm gonna book him.
It's time you
As
go
it-
back to school.
And of course, I'm gonna reckless.
Of course.
Class is in.
So 20.
Boom.
A 20 is a hit.
for 13 damage.
And you get an F.
13 points of damage. As you swing the book at him, the chain sort of, he puts his arm up, the chain kind of like wraps around his arm a bit, and you like pull his guard loose for a moment, but he manages to put it up and kind of catch himself before you're able to like really deal a heavy blow. Kind of like
I
parries.
missed.
No, you hit, but you're not. Hit points aren't necessarily like, you don't hit him on every attack. It's like you've given yourself an advantage situation and reduce his hit points, but not actually like hit him, right? So is that everything?
I have literally nothing else I can do.
Alrighty then. So it is his turn next. So he sort of like yanks back his arm from between the chain again, sort of like stepping back, and swings at you twice with his two weapons. Actually, he swings twice with his scimitar, and then makes one attack with his dagger. So
swing him.
You reckless, so it is with advantage. Let me just go ahead and never whisper here, and then so that misses wildly. You managed to just sort of tough it out, dodge out of the way. The second swing is going to hit you.
Hit for 3.
Dealing that's 3. Yes, you are raging. And then the last strike with the dagger, an 18.
Misses.
I believe will miss you, because you have your shield. You managed to parry it at the last moment. Oliver.
Okay. I'm guessing I can't see the this guy.
No, I'll say
is the
like
roof sticking out?
No, so see, the map is not the territory in this case. Like, he's just behind. You can see both of them. It's just a map to be pretty. It's not actually like the full extent of the situation. You can see both of them, and that's like the rough distance between you.
I will, on this fellow, I will try to cast command.
All right, which one were you doing again? Sorry, I looked away when you pinged. Okay, that guy.
All right. Oh wow, that's a lot of text.
Yes, so, what is your command going to be? There are a few suggestions in the spell that basically it tells you what they will do. Otherwise, you can attempt to do something else, as long as it's one word.
I'm gonna tell him, like, flee.
Alright. You command him to flee. That is a wisdom saving throw. Let me make sure these guys are also set to public. There we go. Which he will fail.
Nice.
So what that means is you have told him to flee, so on his next turn, he is going to basically dash away.
Guess whose turn it is next?
And it is, in fact. Do you want to move at all?
I think I will. I will inspire. Lady Valerie.
Okay. You grant a bardic inspiration.
Oliver like rips off his sleeve and there's like 8 eyes tattooed on his arm.
What?
This critical roll. Alright, so this guy, he failed to save, so he spends his turn basically dashing away. So I'm just gonna, he's gonna stay there, but he's 60 feet back, so basically he has to spend his next turn getting back to where he was. The other guy, he is going to run up. You should have enough, yeah. He's going to run up to you, Oliver. And he is going to swing his heavy cudgel at you twice. Just making a normal roll here.
Oh my god.
Normal roll.
Cracking you over the side of the head with the first swing. You kind of underestimate just how fast his swing comes. All right. Yeah, so you take 9 points of damage, and you use your reaction. So you roll a d12 plus your con, and then you
see that
reduce,
1.
So whatever your constitution is,
5 plus 2, so 7.
All right, so you only take 2 points of damage then from that critical strike. Still sends your head reeling, but you manage to sort of shrug it off by enduring. And then he swings a second time, and you manage to duck out of the way now, sort of having come to grips with like how fast his swings are and where they're coming from. You manage to duck out of the way this time. So then it is Valerie's turn.
Woo! All right. Let's see here. So I have a bardic, right?
You have a
Yes,
bard.
the D6.
Whopping
It's a
D6. Do I have to
yes.
roll it? Do I have to say I'm using it before I roll, or can I use it after I roll?
You can say that you're using it after the roll, but before any sort of results are declared. So like if you roll, you have to do it like right away, basically, before I say whether
Alright,
it hits or misses.
Fair enough then. I will not use it.
Okay.
And I'm shooting it at this guy.
All right, a 20 is a hit against that fellow.
And now he's
6
slow.
points of cold damage.
He's-
And his movement speed is reduced by 10 feet.
Excellent shot, mistress. You're getting better.
You hit something for once. Congratulations.
I come to
And
school, Sir Reginald.
if that is that for you, Lady Valerie, it is Sir Reginald's turn.
Fucking school's in session, and I'm going to reckless.
Oh man.
24.
24 is a hit. Nothing you can do about that one.
12.
12 points of bludgeoning damage. Another like solid strike again. You're sort of driving him back, backing him further and further into a corner where it's making it hard to defend himself. Basically, just sort of setting up ever so slightly each time for a final sort of decisive blow. Right, is that all?
I literally have nothing else to do.
In that case, then it is his turn. He again he's kind of like spits to the side a little bit, disappointed that he's kind of being driven back here, and he just wildly swings 3 times, twice with a scimitar with advantage. A 22
Hit
for
for
3, a miss, and then
miss.
another miss. You manage to parry, duck out of the way of the first one, and parry the dagger as it tries to come in from the side.
See, that's my secret. I eat the first one so I can block the other 2.
Clearly, yeah, it's the cross counter or whatever. And then Olivar, you're back up. There is one guy who is currently on you. The other has run away. It is your turn.
Okay.
I think you should poke this man.
Maybe.
You do whatever you want, Olivar.
All right. I
wanna call you
flee and
Olivar.
leave the other 2 to die. I said I drew my rapier, so I'll poke him with it.
Sure.
I'll see if he's made of flesh.
No, he's a construct. He's a metal man.
Oh shit.
A 15 is a hit. These thugs are just wearing sort of plain leather armor.
5
5
piercing.
damage. Yeah, so you sort of... That is not correct. Not minus 56. Minus 5.
I'll take 56.
No. Yeah, so you strike at him. He, like, ducks out of the way, but your, like, rapier kind of, like, cuts across his cheek, you know, leaving that little, like, line of blood where you cut across.
Can I have more than one inspiration up on a person at a time? Do you know?
You can only give one to each person, but you can have multiple out at a time as long as they're different targets. Each person can only hold one.
All right. I'll give another one. I'll give one to Sir Reginald.
Sure thing.
I feel inspired.
Yes, very inspiring. Whatever it is that Olivar does to be inspiring.
Well struck, Sir Reginald. Aim for his knee next time.
Oh man,
Got him.
that's a good idea.
Good idea, man. All right, the thugs. Actually, a little bit of a change of plans here with this one. The spell ends. He's now like 60 feet that way. He's gonna spend 30 feet basically getting back to over here. And then you see he basically, in the process of moving up to this place, he kind of puts his cudgel aside and takes out a large crossbow, aiming it in your direction, Olivar.
I have powerful build, so I lift the fellow in front of me and use him as a shield.
This thug, has an ally within 5 feet of you. So he has advantage, but he is making 1 crossbow shot against you as opposed to 2 mace attacks.
I feel like I should have saved my stone's endurance. Or not.
No. Basically, he kind of
okay.
like puts up the crossbow, like aiming it, but it's dark, right? And he appears to be human, so he probably doesn't really have a good like sight, basically. And there's a lot of clutter in the way, so it just like flies wide over your shoulder, kind of like impacting the building behind Valerie. And then the other one, he is going to swing twice at you with the mace, not with advantage, just normal attacks here. Whiffing both times. You managed to easily sort of duck out of the way like an expert swordsman. Easily.
Bard.
Yeah, it's an expert bard. A swashbuckler.
Yeah.
Valerie.
I will frostbolt the man that Sir Reginald is fighting once again. I will not use my bardic.
Very well. A 17 is a hit, dealing 4
Yeah.
points of cold damage.
And his slow is maintained.
Yes, that slow has had a great impact on him. Sir Reginald.
I think I might go for the knees.
Ah, shit, dude.
You're gonna go for a trip attack?
No, I am going to do the thing though. The fucking one
Reckless?
action that makes me have advantage that I can't remember the fucking name. I'm reckless. For crit.
Nice.
I rolled
Oh,
horribly on that one.
unfortunate.
Unfortunately,
9, 10, 11.
11 points of damage to him. Yeah,
In the
so
knee.
you're aiming for his knee. So you kind of like kick him backwards, setting him off bounds, and then the book like cracks into his knee. He lets out a cry. He kind of like drops to one knee, like grabbing it, but he's still sort of like he grits through his teeth, like standing up, obviously like wincing from the pain now. Before he like again readies his stance, and he is going to attack you in retaliation. With advantage, twice with the scimitar. 19 hits you
miss.
for 2. That misses, and then the dagger also misses. Can't get through that.
Matt.
Can't get through that shield. Of
Come
yours,
on,
so you,
kid.
snuck
This
in.
can't be all you've had. This was your plan.
Olivar.
Alright, is partial cover a thing in this? I don't remember.
Yeah, there is. Basically, you can either get half cover, 3/4 cover, or full cover, depending on like how much stuff is like between you and a.
Sorry, I meant like from other people. So if could I position myself in a way that I would get some kind of cover from this guy, from the archer?
Yeah, I mean, if you were basically like on the other side of a creature, you would have like a +2, basically.
Yeah. Right. So I'll swivel my way on the other side of the well. Unless you need me to leave his area before I do that.
No.
I could just walk around him like.
No, like the well isn't. There's not actually a well there. So.
Oh, okay. It's a kid drew a well on the ground.
Like I said, the battle map just look pretty.
Yeah. It's doing spells in. Oh, it's actually saving throw, so it doesn't matter. But if a spell attacks is still disadvantaged when you're in melee combat, right?
If it's a ranged spell, if it's a melee spell, it's not.
All right. I'll just try poke him again with my rapier.
Okay. Poke, 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 poke.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a good roll. You like trip basically over yourself as you're striking towards him, and he just ducks out of the way.
My rapier gets stuck in my like coat or something, and I can't even get it towards him.
All right, the thug in the back again, sort of. He's gonna move in a little bit closer. Obviously, had a tough time making that shot from that distance in the dark. And then as he's leveling the shot, he's going to shout basically, and he says, "Oi, Ike, you're in the way. I can't get a clean shot." And the other thug is going to sort of look back and
Hey, where you are,
going to move to give the other thug a better shot.
Oh, they act on the same thing?
Yeah, they're the same turn order.
That's not cool.
So, let's do the one with the crossbow first. He's going to take a shot at advantage. Nope.
Ah!
Just barely,
Actually,
though.
that's
Just barely.
only one below.
Yeah. Just barely misses you.
Yeah.
in the
Maybe if your
darkness.
friend was there, you would have hit someone.
And then the other one is going to swing twice with his mace. Hitting
Oh.
you for 6, and then missing you. All right, Valerie, Olivar seems to be sort of getting a little bit overwhelmed here in this 2-on-1 situation. Sir Reginald, on the other hand, seems to have a pretty good handle on this guy that he's been fighting.
Really does seem that way. Oh, I think I could maybe just hit them both. Alright, I'll move down here, Brad.
Okay.
I'm now in melee range. Sup? And I'm going to use another spell slot to cast Tasha's Caustic Brew. So I guess Val takes out another one. She's like, good thing I made 2 this morning. Throws it.
All right, dex save. The guy in the front succeeds. The guy in the
Are
back
you kidding me?
also succeeds.
Get the hell out of here. What the fuck?
DC is just too low.
Oh my, I hate this game.
Unfortunately, they both duck out of the way, probably due to the fact that you shouted what you were attempting to do beforehand.
I really need to stop doing that.
Sir Reginald.
My lady, you need to stop announcing your attacks.
Let me see. I think I might book him again recklessly.
You sure you don't want to change it up?
I will use my bardic though. What is it? A D6?
It is a D6, yes.
Yes.
18. Does it hit?
An 18 does in fact hit, and
I know a 17 hits this
that
guy.
is
10.
That is just beyond what he is capable of doing anything about. So deals 10 points of damage.
Take a parry.
Once again, just barely like getting your attack in such a way that he can't try to like parry it out of the way. You see, he's put himself in this stance where he's like holding this dagger, like ready to try to like knock your attacks aside. But each time you manage to,
They're too reckless.
your attacks are just so reckless that he doesn't expect it. And you're managing to like get past his well-trained guard. So he is going to lash out one more time. Give the old college
Miss.
try. No.
Miss.
I can only roll well on saving throws.
He
Yeah,
hit it.
apparently
No,
so.
He hit me on 1. So
Yeah.
do I round down
2.
or up?
It's 2. It's always round
2.
down unless it says otherwise.
I mean, he's done a decent amount of damage to me.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
getting
mostly
the
just
nicks
like
are
nicks.
adding up.
It's like nicks and scratch, death by 1,000 cuts almost, and he's
Yeah.
looking a lot worse than you are. That's for sure. Olivar.
The map isn't as it's looking here. Are there any obstacles, or is it like are we fighting on a straight street? Like
You're basically just like out in the street. Now there's some like you could like run off. Like if you disengage, you could like run off into like one of the side alleys and like around a corner or whatever. But for the most part, like this area that you're fighting on is just like an open street.
all right. I was more thinking if any of these buildings were like cornered, so you can like position yourself where the archer couldn't just get a straight shot. But the fella in front of me, does he look particularly harmed?
He's been hit once. You like grazed him with the rapier the one time.
Isn't that 5 damage?
Yeah, I mean, like I
Fine.
said, he's got that little sort of like red line across his cheek from where it like barely struck him.
Oh, I forgot I had the super death poison on my weapon.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. How could we forget about that?
Probably because I just made it up. I'll.
What?
What?
Yes.
Oh, damn it. I'll move around him, like down here. And I am wounded. But who cares? I'll cast a vicious mockery on the arch or on the crossbowman. Oh, 1 damage.
But the disadvantage is the real use there.
Yeah, I know. Hoping he won't hit me. And I'll be like, yeah.
I'm so glad you
seem
chose
like
some saving throws
hit
against
the
you.
broadside of a barn.
All right. If that is all.
Yeah.
He comes running out. Let's get a shot here. Yeah, I mean, he sees like you've taken a couple hits, so he's just gonna try to get you down, so they can help the captain. So, heavy crossbow, canceled out, so just a normal shot. 13. Just your armor class, right?
Yeah.
6 points of damage. It like sinks sort of into your side, like piercing and like ripping open a wound on the side there. And then the other thug, seeing this as you like stagger back from that, is going to raise his club in the air and come swinging down at you. That you manage to duck even despite like the blurred vision and blood loss. Second swing again, just barely like stepping out of the way, like kind of almost in like fight or flight, just like reaction mode now, where you're more just like doing things on instinct than actual focus.
I'm just flailing for my dear life.
Oh, Valerie.
Well,
We need
I'm trying
armor.
to come help you guys.
You need to kill him, Zach. Just kill him.
Listen, it's not my job.
Let's see here. I have.
Wait.
Hmm?
No, never mind. Never mind. I forgot he had the crossbowman had advantage.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, you rolled 5
because of his ally. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Valerie?
What do you do, Valerie?
I'm going to use my bonus action to eat a basic snack. So I gain an extra two temporary hit points, yes. And then, I suppose, since it's my only melee weapon, I'm going to swing at him with my dagger. The guy in my face.
Go for it.
You still have the Bardic?
I do, actually. But I don't know how much. I might as well. You're going to go down soon anyway. 6.
All right, a 17 will definitely hit. You deal 4 points of piercing damage. You're sort of stabbing him in the leg as he's going after Olivar.
Go!
Ow, stop!
Like, you bitch! I'll deal with you once this one's down. All right, Sir Reginald.
Kill him, please!
This one called the lady a bitch.
Gonna fucking. Oh, God damn it. Swing at this guy recklessly. How hurt does he look?
I mean, like he's basically like he's taken like a couple of bruises now. Like you've pushed him like against a corner, right? Like he's running out of options to like defend himself or places to escape to.
Murderate him. I believe in you.
Attack him.
Recklessly?
Of course.
Yes.
14.
Oh no!
Oh, I'm too distracted looking behind me.
Yeah, you look behind you, making sort of a half-hearted swing, and this time he finally manages to like he grabs your arm before you manage to like swing the book and like pushes it to the side.
You have an inspiration for a reroll?
Actually, I do. But that's not a reroll, is it? That just gives me advantage.
No, technically it's supposed to just give you advantage.
Yeah. So I can't do anything with it.
Never mind, man.
All right. So it's his turn now.
Yep.
He's going to attack you, seeing like this is his best chance basically to like push you back, seeing you a little bit distracted. So let's see if he can do anything about it. Scimitar.
Miss.
Nope.
Miss.
Nope.
Miss.
You are just too sturdy of a defensive wall, able to sort of shrug off his blows and kind of like move into his strikes to deflect them out of the way. He's not used to fighting an opponent such as you.
Woo, woo, woo. Defense and support. That's what I love.
You got any spells, Oliver? That could help?
Yeah, I do.
That is Olivar's turn.
All right. I will cast Cure Wounds on myself. For 8 hit points.
Nice.
I think that added
Yeah, you're at 10 now.
Yep. And I will try to dump the my remainder. I will inspire. Seeing that the lady has resorted to using a dagger, which she is not too adept with, I will inspire Sir Reginald.
Yes, yes, good, good.
Sir Reginald, this one insulted the lady.
The lady's not hurt yet. I'm a little preoccupied.
I am.
All right, the thug's turn. This one.
Better you than her.
Make a shot at you with the crossbow one more time. See if he can get a hit on you. 16 does, but it's a very sort of glancing blow.
Yeah.
And at this point, he is going to throw the crossbow aside and draw his mace as he is going to join his friend. And his friend is going to make 2 attacks against you. He now has advantage due to the pack tactics. So, first swing didn't help him very much.
Oh.
Second, though, manages to clap you for 8 points of damage. And I believe that is enough to knock you down to the ground. So finally, Valerie, you see these two sort of charge forward and overwhelm Olivar, knocking him to the ground. And you see like blood kind of pooling out of this wound at his side where he was grazed by the crossbow. Valerie.
I'm sure he will be fine. I'll get you up, don't worry. However, yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna, can I hope that like Sir Reginald can kill him on his turn. So I suppose I'll stab at this guy again. Man, I love being in melee. I rolled a number 11.
An 11.
Too bad I inspired Mr. Reginald, eh?
An 11 is enough. You managed to pierce his guard. He is just wearing leather armor and does not seem to be particularly dexterous.
I wasted my bardic Olivar, never mind.
Yeah, but that's the way bardic goes. You don't know whether it's a waste or not. So another 5 points of piercing damage to him. Chipping away at him, stabbing him again in the leg, and he's just like, you bitch!
Alright. Reckless. Reckless book. 19.
19. Nothing he can do about that one.
411.
All right. Finally, now you see you back him, like push him back up against the wall as you're fighting, like slowly sort of calculating and maneuvering in order to get yourself into an advantageous position. He, like, as he goes to step back to dodge from your attack, bumps up into the wall, sees this attack coming, like puts his arms up trying to block it, and you just with all of your might slam through his guard, and the book just sends his arms knocking out of the way, slamming right into his head, and just with a clean thud, you see he just crumples to the ground in an instant.
I turn, and you just hear rustling through the bush as I come out the other side. He's like, "Get behind me, mistress." Like, what's going on over here, boy?
Olivar, get me a death saving throw.
Is there a whisper to GM?
You could just always do a GM roll 20, if not. I don't know if this sheet has that option. To whisper.
Yeah, do I just? Is it just /GM?
Yeah, just slash GR instead of /R.
GR D20.
Okay.
Burn.
The thugs. This one, seeing Olivar down on the ground, is going to.
Hey, the sheet does have exhaustion tracking, and you have to turn it on.
Move over here, and they are going to try to gang up on Sir Reginald, seeing you charge into the fray, having knocked down their captain there. So they will both each make 2 melee mace attacks with advantage.
Alright, go ahead.
Ooh, first one crits you for 9, which is halved to 4. Second for 2, another 2 points of damage. The other guy hits you for 2, and then the last attack misses.
So, was it 4, 2, and 2?
4, 2, and 2, yes, so a total of 8.
I am looking at pretty bad.
Valerie.
I think I'll just take the opportunity attack and move out of threat range so I can start casting my ranged spells.
Okay. He will swing at you, not with advantage. A 12, I believe, just catches you.
Yeah, it does.
Unarmored.
So I
you
lose
take
2 of that.
8
down.
Yeah, so 6 total to your actual.
Yes. Alright, and then I will Ray of Frost, the one that I've been stabbing. I think that's the one in front of Sir Reginald.
Mhm.
Blah!
To hit 3
I
points
will use-
cold damage.
use-
Your dagger.
Oh,
is
yeah, it
doing
does
better. All right, Sir Reginald, you saw this guy here. He took a swing and hit Lady Valerie as she attempted to backpedal. He's also the one that crit.
I know, and I could retaliate to that, or I could drink a potion.
Because
Because I only have 9 HP.
That's all you need.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean,
How damaged does this guy look? He's the
I
one
mean,
that's been
he
attacked
got
alone.
he got stabbed in the leg twice by Valerian, and
Oh,
like
that's it?
grazed with a rapier. So like he's got
What's
like a couple.
healing potion again? 2d4 plus what?
2d4 plus 2.
2d4 plus 2?
Why is mine a grace, but hers is a stab when mine does more damage?
You didn't do
I'm
more
going
damage though.
To
5, she's done 4.
She did 9 total. Excuse me.
reach into that back pocket and pull out this potion.
Quaff! Quaff, Sir Reginald!
I crush it in my hand and like lick it.
And then you eat the bottle because you don't want the empty glass bottle in your inventory. Like a normal person.
Exactly.
You eat the bottle.
Like,
I slam it on the floor
epic
down to me
MC,
and
man.
it vaporizes and heals me. For 8.
Nice. Good stuff. Oliver.
This is what I was at when I came over here last turn.
It's a good number. That's a number for sure. The thugs. It's gonna surround you a little bit more, and they're gonna continue doing what they do, which is
Little
swinging.
did you know that I have bush tactics.
Push tactics. So that is
Miss.
a miss. That is a miss.
Miss.
That is a miss.
Miss.
That is
That is
also
a
really
miss.
Yeah. Because you know what? You shouldn't have your shield with you, but I totally forgot about it, so you do.
Ah, yes. I mean, I would have taken it with me, and then if they would have told me to, like, no, you can't have that, I'd be like, all right,
Yeah.
just hold it for me at the coat rack.
A check-in for your weapons at the field.
Oh.
Because the same thing, like, at the same time, I wouldn't have had the giant mace book with me then as well.
I mean, you need something to defend yourself on the way there.
Exactly. If I need something to defend myself on the way there, I'm gonna bring the shield too.
Valerie.
Come on, give me good rolls. That works.
That is a good roll.
But like, a 4. Sad face.
The damage, yeah.
So sadly, though, I didn't get attacked that turn, so I lost my rage.
Just rage again.
Yeah, because
I'm
they,
gonna
didn't,
have
they didn't
to.
hit you, yeah, and you didn't attack, so
Yep.
yeah, it's your turn. Rage
I'm going
ends.
to bonus action rage,
Go for it.
and then I'm gonna fucking book this guy again. Well, not again, but for the first time, recklessly, of course, for 16,
There's a hit.
for 12.
All right, quick swing, and the book thuds. It's basically like center of mass into this guy's chest, and just sends him like flying backwards. He like lands up against this building wall, and the other guy shouts like, "God damn it, Ike!" Ugh! And he's kind of like looking.
I thought
around
you
the
were
place.
Ike.
No, Ike was the
No,
one.
the melee guy was Ike.
They both.
They're both.
All right.
Yeah,
They're
but
Mike.
the
one's-
guy above him, it was the crossbow.
They're Mike and Ike.
They're Mike and Ike, yeah.
Mike and Ike, and they're twins.
Yeah. So yeah, you managed to like knock him back onto his feet, kind of send him scattering up against the wall, bleeding out.
So salty, my caustic brew did nothing.
Oliver.
It would have been a nice opening salvo, but sadly, nothing.
Okay. This guy, now deprived of his allies, he
Feels
is
good to be able
going
to take them.
to slowly back away. Fine. Disengaging. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He says, I'll just be going now. Don't mind nothing. Hey, let bygones be bygones, Valerie.
Right. I will move 30 feet up here. And, like, I suppose with one last defiant fuck you, I'll, like, throw, like, one of my last little frost vials at him. And stay away!
Okay. Breaks 8 points of damage, slowing him down. So Reddit, I guess at this point, are you guys gonna like give chase? I mean,
Yeah.
you can
No,
catch
I'm not
some
giving
stuff,
chase. My
yeah.
turn. I'm running over here, and I'm gonna try to
Okay.
fucking stabilize them.
All right, so if you run over there to stabilize him,
I'm like, Mistress, we need to help Olivar.
that is going to give this guy enough time to basically run away like around a corner and out of sight. When you arrive,
I think I stabilized.
yeah, well, when you arrive and you go to check him over and just like stabilize his wounds, make sure he's not doing too well. It seems as though his hardy constitution has held up and he is in no like immediate danger of dying already.
Like, oh, thank God. He's all right, Mistress.
Good.
He's just sleeping now.
Ah, well, that's a relief. I'd love to get him out, but I think I used all my components.
Stand up, like, all right, what the fuck was this about?
Good question. I look down at him and it's like, you check him, I'll check him.
Of course. Like, what the fuck did they say about wanting to talk to us about some bullshit? I'm gonna loot the corpse.
Loot corpse.
Okay. So the thug Sir Reginald that you're looking through the pockets of doesn't really seem to have too much on him. Can you roll for me 2d10? All
15.
right, you find 15 gold pieces amidst his like weapons and armor.
Oh,
basically.
yes! 288 gold.
He also has like leather armor, like a crappy cudgel, and like a heavy crossbow.
I don't give a shit about that. Do you see my book?
Yeah. Valerie, as you're sort of rummaging around in this guy's pockets, can you give me 4d10?
Flash on 4d10.
So Reginald, you hear Oliver in his sleep. I wish I had leather armor.
I'll take the leather armor off of because I look over at Oliver, I was like, man, that man could really use some armor.
You find 17 gold pieces amidst this guy's belongings, as well as his scimitar, his dagger, and his studded leather armor.
Thank you. Oliver whispers in his sleep, like, but I really, really like studded leather armor.
Okay, 17 gold pieces and studded leather armor.
And you also find what appears to be a note of some sort, like folded up in his pocket.
Definitely gonna have a look at that.
All right. Opening the note, it's pretty short, but it basically reads, Doom Raiders were seen at Troll Skull Manor. Figure out what's up. Tail the owners. Find out what they know.
Who
M.
the fuck are Doom Raiders? Say M?
Yeah, it's just signed with an M.
Mr.
Ambushed us. Okay, so it said Doom Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Does that name ring a bell to me
Nope.
at all? Doom Raiders spotted at Troll Skull Manor. Tail the owners. Find out what's up. Signed M, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay.
That's all there is. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
And he's got like the winged snake tattoo, which
Yes.
is Zentrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. Well, okay, I suppose I'd recognize that symbol, and I'll sort of, what the fuck? Had a Zentrum tattoo. How very interesting. Alright, and that's all.
Yeah, that is all that he has on him.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
I lift up Olivar?
I think you are capable of carrying. He doesn't have like much in the way of like gear, so it's just his whatever he weighs. So I think you're capable of like carrying him a bit, albeit slowly. Like you'll be going a little bit slower, but
Got it. Just wanted to make sure we could actually move him.
Valerie,
I'm a pretty lean Goliath.
yeah, you're still freaking tall.
Yeah.
Valerie comes over Sir Reginald. You notice she's carrying some studded leather armor down, like that she's taken off the man. And then yeah.
Did
and
you
she'll
find
say,
anything?
yes, a note. And I'll sort of like, read it. Like, I sort of like take it out, make a big show of opening it up and reading it out. Doom Raiders spotted at Troll Skull Manor. Tail the owners, find out what's up. Signed M.
Also assuming I've never heard of fucking Doom Raiders.
Make a history check. No.
Can't. Oh, I was just gonna ask if I could use advantage.
If you want to spend your inspiration, you can re-roll it. I'll let you re-roll in this case.
Oh, you'll let me re-roll it for inspiration?
If you don't already have advantage or disadvantage, I allow the re-roll, but if you already have that, you can't.
I can't just take the advantage and take the 20?
No, that's purposely why
you know what? Yeah, I'll do it. 11.
No, unfortunately, you haven't heard of them.
Alright, never heard. What the fuck is a Doom Raider?
The name seems like familiar to you, but you just can't quite remember like the context or what it means.
It's a very good question. The man had a Zentrum tattoo. And
Didn't we just do a job for the Zentrum? Why are they sending people after us?
Yes, we did. She nods, and she'll say,
If you
shit.
if you do recall, which I know you don't because you don't pay attention.
Davil Star
when
Song.
you were speaking to Davil Starsong, he mentioned that the Watch was keeping an eye on them because a pretender, basically claiming to be an old like Zentarum founder, had like reemerged from the dead and was basically like taking over and like stealing gang members and committing violence in their name.
Yes, that does ring a bell actually.
I mean,
yeah. So like she'll like relay that. Like when we met when we met Davil Starsong and he gave us a job, he did mention something about a pretender of the Zentrum's guild that had apparently come back and was swaying some of their members to join him. Appears that they have a bit of a internal feud going on.
you think these guys have something to do with that shit?
Possibly. I can't think of any other reason.
So for some reason, because Doom Raiders have been seen, whatever the fuck they are, by our inn, we're now under watch by some faction of the Zentarum.
I suppose so. I don't quite get, though, why they're going after us. We're not Doom Raiders, whatever they are.
While we're talking about all this, I want to start gathering the bodies and I'm just going to toss them in the bush.
Assassin's Creed style, just toss them in the bush.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever find
exactly.
them.
Exactly.
Sure.
And then once that's done, I've been doing that since we've been talking this whole time. Once it's done, I'm going to pick up all the I was like, I think we need to at least get out of here for now as well, mistress. Do we still go to the
How far away is the opera house, Brad?
It wasn't very far. It's maybe like a few more blocks. The only thing is that like this scuffle is sort of like dirty,
covered in blood,
torn your clothes a little bit. So you'll probably have to like figure out a way to like clean them off before you like go there.
Well,
there's a well right here.
There's no well.
No,
Brad,
that was just drawn on.
It's a fake well. It's a chalk drawing of a well.
I cast mending on my clothes, like
Yeah,
to repair all the damage.
You can mend the holes and tears and whatnot, but it's not going to get rid of like the grime and blood and stuff.
Do you have prestidigitation?
I don't. Well, got 2 cantrips, my dude.
Maybe we could go for a new fashion style.
Is there
Adventure
a well?
chic.
Is there a well nearby?
You imagine like you could probably search around and find one. Like it'll take a bit, but there's still a little bit of time before the actual like opera starts.
Yeah, I'll just like quickly look for a well.
Sure.
Make follow moving Olivar with us.
Make an investigation check.
Can I get
I'll say that an 11 is good enough to like find one within like, a few minutes of like searching around. You find like one of those like pump draw wells.
Yeah, it's fine. So I'll quickly, like, pull up a bucket of water, and maybe I'll just take a tear of cloth from like one of these dead guys' like piece of clothing and just like wash it quickly and try to like scrub down some of the bits on my clothing to see if I can be looking presentable.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's probably going to be like a little bit of like inset like stains that are going to be a little bit like too tough to get out right away, but you can like make it like mostly presentable. Like nobody's going to notice unless they take like a real close look.
Yeah, okay. Well, like once I like do it to that point, I'll be like, well, I think that's as best as I'm gonna get. I sort of turn to Reginald. It's like, it might be best for you to actually take Oliver back to the manor. I can meet Mert on my own.
You want me to leave you out here alone while we've been being followed by cutthroats?
What do we do with Oliver then? Do you have a friend around here that might be able to look after him?
Brad, to have a friend around here who might be able to look after him. What? I don't know. He might be waking up soon. Brad, do I have a friend around here? How rich of a neighborhood is this? If it's super rich, then no.
Yeah, it's like the Castle Ward, so it's like the like administrative area of the city.
Is there anyone I smuggled drugs in here for?
Probably not. Probably like the trades ward or the dock ward or something like that, but probably not in like the administrative heart of the city.
Just pass him off as a drunk. See, he had a little bit too much to drink on his way here.
Can you roll 1d4 for me, Mike?
Oh, I'm not Mike.
No,
I'm Zach.
You're Zach.
Yeah. Actually,
All right.
thinking about it, is there an inn nearby, maybe, like on the way, like just a normal tavern that maybe has a few rooms?
Probably, you could probably find like an inn or something like that.
Yeah. All right. I think Valley will say it's like, well, how about this? There's and she'll insert name of inn / tavern / whatever, and it's like on the way there. Why don't we just drop a few silvers and let him sleep it off?
I suppose. Courtesy of these guys, and I kick at the bushes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll just sleep off attempted murder.
Just walk it off, man. Come on.
Just
All right.
sleep it off.
So we'll do that, Brad.
All right. So you go to the nearest inn. We'll say it is called Agiron's Rest. And
leave him a note as well.
Oh yeah, jot a quick note. It's like, had to go to the opera. Thought we'd let you sleep it off. See you later, Valerie. XOXOXO.
So it'll be 5 silver for the room.
Yeah, Valerie will pay it. Actually, does Oliver have money on him?
Yeah, I mean, a quick look through his.
Do you want to loot his stuff so it doesn't get stolen?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he can pay for his own room.
A quick look through his belongings, you see he has like a few silver and like a modest amount of gold. Like not a huge amount, but he has quite a few.
Alright. I'll pay the 5 silver from Oliver's purse.
Oliver.
What about the guys who tried to murder me? This is an involuntary purchase.
Oliver,
you can raise your complaints when you're conscious.
They spend your 5 silver on a room for you. Aren't your friends like so nice?
Listen, I'm not a part of this.
I don't have.
I was more than happy to let the fucking thugs pay for it.
Anyway, so you get him a room and basically like bring him up there, and then the two of you will make your way to the opera.
Our clothes have been mended, cleaned as best they can. Let's hope this goes well.
All right, so you make your way over to the Light Singer Theater in the Castle Ward. As you arrive there, you can see there are a number of sort of coaches and carriages arriving out front with a number of like dignitaries and high society members, all sort of dressed up very fancily, wearing kind of like jewels and embroidered gowns and whatnot. Obviously, ready and prepared for like a night at the theater.
I got a phone call.
There are a lot of people that seem to be socializing as you sort of walk up to the front of the sort of like usher, I suppose, or something of that, like kind of like checks your tickets, and seeing that they are indeed genuine allows you entry into the sort of like common area at the front of the theater, where you can partake in some complimentary refreshments They sort of like bring out some like wine and cheese platters and whatnot to partake in. And you spend like a few minutes there before eventually the call comes out that seating will begin, and people begin to sort of funnel into the theater. The seats you have been provided for the night are probably sort of like somewhere near like the back of the lower level, kind of in the common seating area. You don't have like box seats or anything fancy like that, but you're sort of amidst the common entry, which is still mostly well-to-do people, just like minor nobles as opposed to like the incredibly rich and famous, as it were, who dwell higher up. So as you sit down, a few moments pass before eventually the performance begins. And as I said before, when you receive the tickets, it appears to be you don't understand what they're singing. Obviously, it's in a giant, basically. So it's sort of this like, imagine almost, if you would, like an opera with this like an opera with this kind of like low sort of like throat singing kind of style almost. As they're like singing in giant. But you see there are scenes. The opening scene, basically, you see what appears to be like a small village. The obvious protagonist, sort of dressed up and impressive looking, standing center stage as this mighty dragon like swoops in from out of nowhere and begins like terrorizing the village. And it's basically about these heroes like fighting it back, and eventually it's like scenes sort of like play through. The first two like acts, they're like fighting against this dragon and kind of like moving about, sort of like escorting through like various different places, traveling to some sort of like big meetup or something of the likes. And then the first sort of like act ends and intermission begins, when you are sort of instructed to meet with Mert in his box seating higher up above.
Yep. Well, yep. I'll go see Mert.
All right. So as you make your way up to Private Box C at the top floor, you see there are a couple of guards in sort of like formal attire. These big, sort of like burly bouncer-looking types. Arms sort of like held together in front as you like approach, and they just sort of say, "Who are you? What do you want?"
Valerie Cadencia von Bourbon. Mert has invited me to come and have a little chat with him during the intermission.
You see, like, one of them like looks down at kind of a like a little like note sheet or something of the likes, like flipping through it, and he just says, "The Lord is expecting you, please." And he sort of steps aside and like gestures to the doorway. The other one kind of like opening it for you.
Nice. Step through.
All right, as you step through, you see a lavishly appointed private box, basically, with like its own sort of like self-serve bar to the side. You see like this like waiter kind of like shaking a cocktail back and forth behind the bar. You see like food sort of like spread out on tables, and there is only one sole sort of resident of the box currently. You see sat there kind of overlooking on this balcony, looking over the theater from high above. None other than Mert sort of sat there. And as he hears you sort of approaching, he sort of like turns, and you see he's got those sort of like opera viewing like glasses, right? The little stupid looking like binoculars on a stick, and he sort of like puts them down, and he just sort of says, Lady Valerie, I was wondering when you would make yourself known. And he says, come, have a seat.
Go have a seat, and it's like, thank you very much, my lord. That's very kind.
And he says,
And I'll say,
so,
oh wait, no, go on.
My guards at my estate tell me you've a matter that you wish to discuss with me before delivering my rightfully owned statue back into my hands. Please, explain yourself.
Of course. Now, it was not my intention to do so. And I say, after we recovered the statue from Blue Alley and were taking it back to your estate, I was surprised, but it appears to be talking to us. The statue, apparently, is in fact a real unicorn, one that was polymorphed long ago by an ancient sorcerer. And if you were to touch it with your hand upon its stone, it can communicate with you telepathically. The unicorn claims to go by the name of Primara. And she'll say it's like, I wasn't sure if you were, and he says, I don't think you were aware of this fact, but I wish to inform you this was the case first, because it is not a statue, but in fact a real unicorn.
Yeah, so you like go through that, and he sort of like chuckles, like, he says, "Were you someone else, I would perhaps think you fibbing. However, I am quite a good read, and you don't seem to be acting in a fictitious manner. I suppose I will take your word for this. But if so, I fail to see how this changes our arrangements. I, of course, offered payment for returning the Celestite unicorn to its proper owner, polymorphed unicorn or not."
And I'll say it's like, well, I can. And she says, well, I can still be happy to hand it over, but if it is in fact a real unicorn, then wouldn't it be more humane to try and figure out a way to break the spell and set her free, rather than keeping her imprisoned in stone forever?
And he says, perhaps. And he says, but I suppose, being that I am the owner of such a thing, it would be in my interest whether or not to pursue such a thing. And do you not think it would be more suitable for such exploits in the estate of a noble such as myself, rather than the dingy taproom of a rundown tavern?
And she'll nod and it says, well, you make a fair point, and it's like, well, so, and it says, well, I just came to make you aware of that fact. I didn't want the message to be getting lost in translation. And then she'll say, and as long, and she says, since it sounds like you're going to consider, since you're considering the possibility, then I can at least rest easy. And I'll say, I'll look to, Sir Reginald, and I suppose look back to him, and it's like, if it's all right with you, then I think we will dip out early and get the statue over to your estate.
And he just sort of like chuckles and he says, that will not be necessary. I will send my men over to collect it in time. And he says, I have given you tickets to this fine opera, and it would be a shame if you did not stick it through to see to the grand finale. And he says, I will consider your proposal about this unicorn that has been entrapped within the statue, and see what I can do about it. No, I can make no promises.
And she nods and says, I understand. A spell like that, I've been told, is quite hard to break. And she'll say, but to try, I think, is probably the best I can hope for. Alright, then, I suppose after that, like, if there's nothing else, we'd probably make our way back to the seats, and Valerie would definitely want to see the rest of the opera through.
All right, yeah. So you return to your seats, exiting from the private box as the intermission ends and everybody sort of funnels back in. And yeah, I think basically like as things are going on, you see basically like the heroes of this tale slowly but surely, one by one, overcoming these sort of 5 very over the top like villains masked in these sort of dragon masks, each a different color. To represent the chromatic dragons. And in the grand finale, they bring out this, like, massive, like, 5-headed dragon model to represent Tiamat. It's quite impressive, basically, like, the creation of this thing and how it, like, actually, like, moves and whatnot up on the stage. And they put on, basically, like, this big sort of show of this battle. And the whole thing's like an opera, right? So they're, like, singing the whole time in this, like, deep kind of, like, throat-singing voice as everything's going on. Even the dragon is sort of like singing in this deep voice as things are going back and forth. And eventually the battle like concludes with the heroes sort of cutting off the heads of this mighty dragon and sort of like accepting like medals. And you see basically like at the end as they're sort of like standing up in front of like basically like a crowd, quote unquote. You see, like, the final play, basically, the final scene, this person comes through who is obviously, like, supposed to represent the then open Lord of Waterdeep, Lord Neverember. But he has been, like, purposely, like, kind of, like, caricatured almost to, like, look overly ridiculous and, like, basically just to make fun of his appearance almost as they, like, walk out onto the stage and, like, sing off-key. As they present this like medal to the heroes, and then the scene sort of like the curtains like close and everybody kind of like applauds and like the actors make their bow and whatnot. And overall, it was a lengthy but interesting performance, although you did not quite understand exactly what was going on, seeing as you did not understand the giant language that they were singing in. But you got the gist of it just through like the scenes and what was happening. And it was very well acted, and there was some impressive like visual effects almost that you're not entirely sure how they managed to pull off. Probably magic of some sort, though you did not see any like spellcasters or anything openly visible.
Well, after that, like Valerie would probably like then, suggest going back to the manor.
I think
And
at
she'll be
some
like-
point during this, Olivar, like after like a couple of hours, you like wake up in this inn room with like a note on your forehead, like just like
Pinned to the forehead.
you have like a pounding like headache, and you are alone.
Why do I feel 5 silver lighter? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And I read the note, and I'm like, I don't want to do opera. And I'll just, was it evening or nighttime when we went to the opera, or?
It was like evening when you went, and at this point it's kind of like sundown.
Alright, so I see that the time has passed, so I'm just gonna go back to
Go
the
back
manor.
to bed. All right.
I'll go back to the manor.
You paid for the room for the night.
I guess.
Sure, yeah, you
Yeah,
say that.
I'll just
say
stay.
that.
I'll just stay.
Sure thing. You just like sort of sigh and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, the two of you return to the manor. When you arrive, you see Sheldrake there, and he basically sort of like stands to greet you. You see sort of like, welcome back, milady, Sir Reginald. I hope you enjoyed your night at the opera.
Oh, it was delightful. It's been so long. It was very impressive.
Indeed.
And
I
I'll
had
say
no
it's
idea
like
what was going on the whole time.
And he just sort of says, that does not surprise me. He says, I can't help but notice, however, the outfits I prepared for you seem noticeably disturbed. Was there
Yeah.
trouble?
There was, in fact. On the way there, we
You notice
unfortunately...
their clothes, but not that there's a person missing.
You're still a stranger to him. Like, and I think she'll say it's like, yes, on the way there, I noticed we were getting tailed. We tried to lose them, taking a few different streets, but they ended up getting the drop on us. Apparently, there were a group of Zentarim.
And he sort of
And,
says, I see. This is most disturbing news, milady.
Quite. I imagine they're probably part of the ones that Davil is not associated with. Sheldrake, have you ever heard of a group called the Doom Raiders?
He sort of thinks for a moment and sort of says, I cannot say that I have, milady.
I
But...
insight Sheldrake.
Since we can do that now.
You can't insight Sheldrake. He's too good.
No! Another 21 brand!
His deception is infinite. No, he's not lying. He hasn't.
Okay.
He hasn't heard that group in particular.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough then. Well, I'll take the note out my breast pocket and I'll like hold it up to him, and it's like, it's the note that I got. Doom Raider spot Troll Skull Iron, tell the owners, find out what's up, M. And I'll say, very strange. I've never heard of the group, and I don't remember us being associated with any such people.
And he
Don't know
says,
who this M could be.
It is quite strange, and the signature very mysterious. If you would like, I could perhaps look into this matter. If you would like.
Well, if it's not too hard, then sure. If you could ask around, that would be great. And I'll sort of like turn to Reginald. It's like, maybe you could ask some of your friends as well when you get the chance.
I can try.
And he says, well, I'm feeling quite exhausted, to be honest. And I'll say it's like, oh yes, as well. Oliver took a bit of a beating, so we decided to let him sleep it off at a nearby inn. He paid for his own room, though.
And yeah, Sheldrick sort of smiles and he sort of says, "I see. Well, good night to you, my lady. Before you adjourn, there is one thing I must tell you that occurred while you were away.
Mm-hmm.
A visitor came upon the manor, seeking to speak with you. I told her you were on other business and to return on the morrow."
Who was it? Do you know?
And they say, they were a dwarven figure in robes. They said they were a member of the Watchful Order. They had come on the recommendation of the Blackstaff.
Ah, wonderful. Very good. Well, we shall be best meet. We shall meet them tomorrow then. And I says, oh, and Mert has, and it says, oh, and the agreement has been sorted out with Mert. Apparently, he'll come collect the unicorn. He'll send some of his men to do it as soon as he's able.
And he sort of says, "That is excellent, milady. It is a rather gaudy statue. I do not think it fits the image of the taproom very well."
Yes, quite. Um, well, I'll
You
let
see, like, the
Pri-
three orphans, like, clinging to it and, like, sort of jumping on top of it.
and it says, "Hey, don't do that. Like Primara knows you're doing that."
Then he sort of, like, pulls down his lower eyelid and sticks out his tongue at you.
Ugh, I'll deal with this tomorrow. I'm going to bed.
I will see
All
to
right.
it that they are more respectful of the unicorn, milady. He sort of smiles.
Right. Well, I think with that, like Val would probably retire for the evening.
Sure. All right, so you all bed down for the night, and basically you all settle in for a long rest, and you are able to successfully complete
Nice.
said long rest. And I will assume basically we'll skip ahead a little bit until all of our returns in the morning to the
Yeah.
to the tavern to meet with you.
Well, I was actually gonna say, can we take a quick breather? Just need to BRB quickly.
Sure, we can take a short 5-minute break here.
Take a fiver.
Cool.
We
Nice.
will be right back. And hello, everybody, and welcome back for this, the second part of today's episode of the Waterdhavian Job. So, you all reunite in the tap room the following morning, sort of going about planning what it is you wish to do for the day. I will say basically, you guys, you get your full rest there, and. When we sort of pick back up, let's pick back up a little bit later. As you're all having this morning meeting, you hear basically like a small like rap on the door. It's sort of like kind of knocking.
All right. Yes, like Varry will go to answer unless Sheldrake does it, like he tends to.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose like Sheldrake will kind of out of habit walk over towards the door, like opening it and looking down before calling out to you, and he says, "Lady Valerie, the guest I mentioned who arrived while you were out last night has returned." And you see he sort of steps aside, allowing them to walk through the doorway, and you see basically dressed in the sort of like robes, basically, like very simple, like plain robes, with the like a brooch bearing the sigil of the Watchful Order of Magists and Protectors. This dwarven mage with sort of a finely carved, like braided wood staff with a little like purple gemstone at the tip, strolls through the door, like looking around, and just sort of says, "Which one of ye is Lady Valerie?"
I step over and it's like, that would be me. And who might you be?
She sort of strokes her beard, and she says, "The name's Promowin Uldmarrow, the Watchful Order." Says, "I've come here because the Black Staff recommended that I seek you out for something of a investigation of sorts that we've unfortunately not the manpower to look into."
I nod and I say, well, I can vary, and says, well, that could be something that we can assist with. And I suppose, like, I'll direct her to, like, take a seat in
Sure,
the usual spot where we take a seat to discuss these
the
things.
one table that you have.
Yep.
And so she sits down and says, "Well, I suppose we'll get right to business then." Says, "There has been a string of incidents lately across the town that the Order has become aware of and has been petitioned to look into, but all of our forces currently are busy investigating other incidents, and so it comes to that we need to fall upon the outside we need to outsource the job, as it were." It says, "We were speaking with the Black Staff to see if perhaps we could enlist the aid of the Grey Hands or Force Grey, but she recommended that we come and visit you instead. Gave you a rather cheery recommendation."
Good to hear. Well, that's definitely something that we could help with. Although I need to get some more details. What was her name again, Brad?
Her name is Promowin Uldmarrow, which I will post in the...
Please do.
Forgotten Realms.
Promowin Uldmarrow. Okay, so that's her name. And I'll say it's like, so what type of incidents then are you talking about? And what seems to be the issue with them?
He says, "According to what little investigations we could conduct so far, there have been 3 victims that were found attacked either in a bookstore or library around the city." And he says, "Of those 3 victims, only one has survived. All 3 found heavily drained of their vitality in the midst of reading a book."
Only one has survived. They've all been trained like some sort of book vampire. Been drained of their vitality. Okay. So right, Valerie's like obviously noting all this down, and she's like, "What do you mean when you say drained of their vitality? Like
says,
their life force? The
says,
blood?"
"It was strange. From the reports that we received from the guard who investigated the scenes of the attacks, there was no sign of any external injuries or anything on the victims. Rather, it seemed as though they had just been shriveled up, almost wasted away, their flesh sunken and sallow. And he says, almost as if the very life was sucked from them.
That their insides were gone, I guess.
No, like there was no like actual sign of like physical injury. It just seemed as though they kind of had like shriveled up, like as if their life was like drained away.
Right. Okay. I don't know. Would I have like heard of anything that could do? Would I have heard of anything that does that?
No.
Like a monster or some sort of spell?
I mean, not that like wouldn't leave some sort of mark, right? Like your first thought is probably like, you know, vampires or something like that, but like that would have left like bite marks, you know.
Yeah.
What book were they reading?
And he says, of that we were not aware from the little investigation that we were able to undergo. He says, from what I hear, though, they were different books. We thought perhaps there might be some connection there, but none of them were reading the same one, at least from what little we know. He says, there is one survivor who is currently in a rather terrible state, but from what I hear, they are regaining their composure. Perhaps they might be able to speak more on the matter.
Have they yet been interviewed or asked about what happened?
The mage shakes their head and says, no, it is recent news to us that they have finally awoken from their state. He says they were unconscious until now.
I see. Where can we find them? What's their name?
And he says, their name is Valor. They are a tiefling knight of Helm, a member of the Order of the Gauntlet. They are currently staying at a hospital run by the selfsame order in the castle ward.
Order of the Gauntlet. Staying where? What did you say?
A hospital that is run by the Order of the Gauntlet in the castle ward.
At a hospital in the castle wards being run by the Gauntlet. Okay. And she'll say it's like, I see. Will the Gauntlet allow us in to question them? If we were to say we're investigating the case on your behalf? Do you know?
We will make arrangements to allow you passage to question the victim.
Thank you. That should be very helpful. And the guard that was, I suppose, reporting on the scene, do you happen to know who they are and where we might find them if we need to ask them any questions about the actual crime scenes themselves?
And he says, we do not know who was at the scene of the first two attacks, but we do know that the third victim was found by an associate of theirs, who was probably staying in the same place, or at least nearby.
And the survivor, okay, is an associate. Okay, and do you know who this is? Do you know of the associate?
Well,
in case we need to speak with them?
We do not.
Okay, right. Need to find out who they are. All right. So how often says so when did this start? These incidents, and how often have they been?
Says they are a fairly recent occurrence. These three attacks have occurred only in the last 5 days or so. This most recent one against the Tiefling Knight occurring the day before Bright Swords, a couple days ago.
So there's been 3 incidents, and it was the day before yesterday. So wait, so all 3 of them happened one after the other, and then nothing on Bright Swords or today so far?
So far,
I'm getting it, yeah.
Yes, at least as far as we are aware. It is a big city, so it is possible that there have been more occurrences that have not been reported yet.
Right. I see. Well, that's definitely a strange mystery, but I imagine some deductions would probably get some answers. I'll sort of like look over to Oliver and Sir Reginald, and I'll say it's like any of you think of anything that I've neglected to ask for thus far?
Not that I can think of. You've covered the bases. Any more
No, I
questions
can't think
that
of
I need
anything
answers
either.
to? We'd probably have to look at it ourselves.
That's what I was thinking. And I'll sort of like turn back to Pramowin, and I'll say it's like, well, I think this is definitely something that we'd be happy to look into for you. And it's like, how should I contact you, or where shall I find you if there's any further questions or to report on the case?
He says, you can contact us at our order's headquarters in the Castle Ward. And he says, we shall be able to provide an issuance of 300 gold, should you deliver the guilty party to our headquarters with sufficient proof of their guilt, that they can be brought to the magistrates and tried for judgment. Or whatever creature is responsible for these, if you could deliver the carcass, that would be suitable as well.
And I say, I'll see what I can do, but depending on the nature of what was responsible, there might not be any remains for me to give you.
And they sort of nod and says, we understand that fact, but should it come to that, we have ways to ascertain your truthfulness in the matter.
Understandable. Well, 300 gold reward. Okay. Well, I think this is something that we'll be happy to look into for you. And it's like, is there anything else you need to ask of me or mention?
They sort of shake their head and they say, no, I believe that is all the information that we have obtained as of yet. It says, we'd appreciate if you could resolve this situation as quickly as possible. He says, the Black Staff has recommended you highly for this fact. He says, we are expecting great things.
Well, we'll try our best to live up to them.
And
I suppose that's when they like go to leave or whatever.
Yeah, he sort of says, if there is nothing else, I have my own investigations that I must look into.
Of course.
A good day to you, Lady
And you.
Valerie.
See him off. Alright. I suppose Valerie would turn and she'll say, it's like, okay, well, I guess we can go look into this. Everyone happy to go do it now?
I don't believe we have anything else going on.
Perfect. And I'll like turn to like Sheldrake and I'll say it's like if Mert's men come from the statue, just let them take it. Hopefully they'll have the gold with them.
As you wish, milady.
Alright. I suppose we'll shoot off. Oh, actually. I suppose I'll like turn to Sir Reginald actually as well, as we're leaving. And it's like, maybe Sir Reginald, do you think it'd be worth leaving a message to some of your contacts about whether any of them have heard of the what were they called again?
The Doom Raiders?
Doom Raiders, yeah.
I can ask around.
Do you have to go leave another note, or is that's how you do it?
I believe that's how Brad informed me how I get into contact with my past.
Mm-hmm.
In smuggling, like, hey guys, anyone ever heard of the Doom Raiders? Fucking just throwing it out there.
Alright, well, I suppose it makes sense for us to like maybe go like and get Sir Reginald to leave a dead drop and then go and start investigating.
Yep.
So provided we're able to do that quickly enough, I would suggest after we leave the note to go and try and speak to this survivor.
All right.
Seems like the obvious first
plan.
step.
So then the plan is for Reginald to go and basically like leave another note in the dead drop, and then you'll head out.
Yeah.
Okay. So Reginald, as you're making your way there, kind of down the back streets of the dock ward, it's a bit of ways, so it takes some time to get there. As you're sort of
I've got my armor on this time, Brad.
as you're opening, I mean, you're not going with him, I don't, right? Like, I guess
I can't just show up to with random people
yeah,
at
you
the
can't
drop.
just like go to a dead drop with like a bunch of random people.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'll meet y'all at this location.
I mean, we could go with you and then just like wait for you at like a street corner while you go off and do something for like 10 minutes. I mean, I'm just kind of like,
to Sir
you know,
Reginald, yeah.
We're
I
kind of
mean,
being like stalked at the moment by possible like Zentrums. I don't want us to like be across the town from one another on our own.
I'll take them to an inn, and I'm like, all right, guys, I'll be back in 10 to 20, and then I come back in 21 minutes.
Damn, you
In
pulled a James on him.
Nice. Oh, by the way, as well, Oliver, your rapier is now +1 magical. Congratulations.
Oh, lovely.
Woo!
Thank you.
All right, yeah. So Sir Reginald, you drop them off at a nearby tavern and make your way to the dead drop. And as you're opening it up, you look around, making sure nobody's watching. As you open it up, you see that there is a small letter, a small sealed letter inside of your usual dead drop.
Yoink.
Yeah, there's no
is
markings or anything on it as far as like a who would
Is
have
this
left
something
it.
for me, or is this something that someone else did drop here? Did that just happen to did drop at the same time someone else did drop?
I mean, you don't know, but you're pretty sure like your associates probably like have multiple dead drops. They don't like overlap them
All right.
typically.
Okay, got it. I wasn't sure how they get back to me. That was never discussed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming this is it, and then I'm gonna like, pocket it away, and then I'm gonna like continue walking. Yeah, you're just gonna sit there and read it in front of the dead drop.
I take it you leave the new note though.
Yeah,
as well.
obviously.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
very
gonna make my way back to
quickly
the
and
inn.
surreptitiously slip that inside, and then make your way back to the tavern. 21 minutes later.
Yep. And then I'm gonna, pull into a booth seat. And then I'm gonna pull it out and read it from there.
All right. So, looking over the note, you see that it's relatively like short and simple, but inside of the envelope there are a number of other sort of documents that seem to be contained within it. The note basically just reads, found some dirt on that man you asked us to investigate, and he says we've enclosed what we could. And looking over the documents, you can see that they appear to be ownership records of a warehouse in the dock ward, in the ownership of one Emic Froon. And you notice that there is also like a clipping, basically, from like an old broadsheets headline about like a City Watch investigation into this warehouse that like turned up nothing, but there was like some suspected like criminal activity there.
Okay.
Do you relay that information to us?
Well, yeah, I'll read it and then I'll hand it over to you. So
What's
you
his
can
name,
read it as
Brad?
well.
Emic? Eric?
Yeah, it is Emic Froon.
Emic Froon.
Emmek.
Right.
Let me just double
Emic.
check, but I'm pretty sure that's the. I'm pretty sure that is the name.
Froon apparently once owned a warehouse in the dock ward, and an old broadsheet shows a guard investigation there. Does the broadsheet like clipping have a date? Do we know how long ago this was?
It was like a couple of years ago.
Right, okay.
But the ownership records for that like particular warehouse that like show them being like signed over to Mr. Froon are like newer. They're within the like last year or so that he acquired it.
Right. Oh, it happened a couple of years ago. Looking for criminal activity. Nothing turned up. Froon then owned. Then
Yeah, I think
guess bought it.
there's like a note basically from the from your like contacts, Reginald, that sort of says like we knew this place had been used for smuggling activities in the past, and then there's like just a statement that's like possible money laundering ?
Okay. So it
Okay.
was used for smuggling and possibly money laundering.
Interesting. Makes you wonder why he's gone from the dock ward up to the north ward. Well, I suppose that's something we can look into after we're done with what we're after our current investigation. All right. Castle Ward Hospital, anyone? I'm down.
Absolutely.
To the Castle Ward Hospital.
All right. All right. You make your way from like down in the dock ward where you were waiting for Sir Reginald, and up to the dock ward, and eventually, or the castle ward, and you eventually manage to find the building in question, basically by the presence of armored knights outside bearing the like seal of the Order of the Gauntlet. There's some like flags basically like hung from the hanging from the building that have the like the seal, and everybody knows kind of like what it looks like. This like gauntleted fist basically. And as you kind of approach, you can see there's like a couple of like basically, you know, full plate mail wearing knights outside, kind of like standing guard. And beyond that, you can see it's just like an open like entrance, basically like a big. It looks like it was like a temple that has been like converted into a hospital almost. So there's a big open entrance, and they basically just sort of like stop you as you like go to approach, and they say, "Hold there, civilians." And he says, "This is a place of healing. What business do you have here?"
And I suppose Valerie will say it's like, "I'm Valerie Cadencia von Bourbon. These are my friends." It says, "The Watchful Order has asked us to look into a series of incidents going on around the city. Believe that one of the survivors is currently taking residence in your hospital. I think they were to send word that we would be coming to have a word with them."
And he sort of nods and says, "Yes, we did receive contact from a member of the Watchful Order. We were expecting somebody." And he says, looking to each of you in turn, and he sort of says, "Must say, I wasn't quite expecting your present company, but if the Watchful Order has sent you," and he says, "I will trust their judgment." And he sort of says, "You may head inside, but please avail yourself of the face coverings at the entrance. There are patients within that have contracted some quite contagious illnesses. We would not wish it to spread beyond these walls."
That's a foreign concept for us.
Yeah. Wait, Tom, I kept telling me to wear a mask. Bullshit. I put my face
Thought this
mask
was a
on.
free country.
I put my face mask on. I don't want to catch the pestilence. You know how it is.
Of course. Yeah, so you all put the masks on. You notice like none of the knights seem to be like wearing face coverings, but I mean you are aware of the concept. You are aware of the concept of paladins and like how they are,
Yeah.
you know, righteous warriors like immune to disease and whatnot. Makes sense that they'd be running a hospital. You basically like ask around, and eventually you are led to a like a back room where there are a number of like curtains dividing these beds basically, where you see there are a number of sick patients, and in the back you see basically what appears to be a female tiefling. Looks to be, you know, early 20s maybe. She has like broad shoulders, and you see sort of this like almost like scowl on her face. It almost seems like kind of like her face is almost stuck that way, you know, permanent like resting scowl face. And you see like there's armor kind of like next to her, but she has a number of basically like bandages around her chest and torso and whatnot, and she's sort of like sat up in the bed, like currently like reading as you kind of make your way. And it's interesting because like I guess at surface level you would look at somebody like this like gruff basically and be like, there's no way they're just like sitting here like reading some like deep literature or whatever, but the book seems to be like quite dense from what you can tell as you're like looking. And,
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, as you walk up, she doesn't really seem to like pay you any mind at first, but eventually, if you just sort of like clear your throat or whatever, she like closes the book, looking up at you, and just sort of gives you that like scowling face, and she says, "What do you want?"
Are you Valor?
I am.
Pleasure. My name is Valerie. These are my friends. We were sent by the Watchful Order regarding the incident about what happened to you. Wondering if we could ask you a few questions?
Ah, so that's what brought you here. Sure.
Wonderful. I suppose I'll like take a seat if there's like a seat next to the bedside.
Yeah, there's like a stool or something you can sit on.
Mm-hmm. Take a seat then. Take out my little notepad. Alright, I'll say it's like, if you wouldn't mind, could you just tell us exactly what happened to you? We were led to believe you were reading a book and then something happened. Could you tell us?
She sort of nods and says, yeah, I remember it clearly. Says, I was reading a book I had purchased. I was investigating cultist activity within the city. He says, the book is the Dark Hunger. Ravings about old god named Hadar. He says, I was reading it to learn more about their insights, the way they act, try to get to the bottom of it. I was halfway done when all of a sudden there was a flash of light. I did not feel the book in my hands anymore. There was a strange floating creature that had appeared in its place. I did not have time to avail myself of my weaponry before it had established some sort of link. I could feel it draining away my vitality. I attempted to fight back, but the creature was able to make quick work of me, I'm afraid. Says I blacked out, and the next thing I know, I awoke here.
He knew she awoke in the hospital. Okay. I nod, and I say, just reading a book, and then I see. That's very strange. And I'll say, according to the person from the order, they said that you were found by an associate of yours. Do you know who that was?
And he sort of nod and he say, yes, it was Arnold. And he says, a fellow knight. He says, they say that he found me lying unconscious on the floor in a rather haggard state. There was no sign of any transgressors, as far as I was told. When I told them about what I had seen, they mentioned no evidence that any such creature had existed.
The book was gone?
The book that I was reading was still there.
Oh, okay, still there.
Anything different about the book?
She just sort of like shrugs and says, I do not know. I have not looked at it since. But by all accounts, it was a seemingly ordinary book when they retrieved it.
Where is it now? Still where you were reading it, or have the order taken it for evidence?
Get a phone call again.
The order have taken it for safekeeping on the off chance that there is something strange about it. He says, I'm sure they have it contained somewhere around here.
I see. And I nod, and I'll like, let's see. I suppose I'll say it's like, was there any specific part of the book you were reading when this incident happened? Any strange entries or anything like that?
He just sort of shakes her head and says, well, the book is full of strange entries given its subject matter, but nothing particularly stranger than the rest. I was about halfway through it when the incident occurred. He says, I have half a mind to go marching back to that stall and demand my money back.
Yes. The stall that you purchased it from, like, where was it? Was it yeah, where was it?
He says, it was in the market I don't remember much because I didn't wish to stay there for too long. That place reeks of greed. But it was in a, what might be described as not the most reputable corner of the marketplace. After all,
Well, that's a
after all, the information I was seeking is not exactly public knowledge. These sorts of occultist activities often take place in the shadows.
I nod, and it's like, I suppose I'll ask for the location of the stall if she's able to give that to me.
She doesn't have like an exact location. Like she was basically like get in, get out. Didn't really remember much about where she was going.
Right. Okay. Fair.
But
Well, I
the
suppose,
description of the stall,
yeah.
colors and such.
Maybe the merchant.
She sort of like thinks for a moment. It says, merchant wasn't anything special. Middle-aged woman, I think. Tan skin. Says, she had a, I don't know, she just gave me the chills, I suppose. As for the stall itself, I remember something about amber. But that's all I remember. I really wasn't, paying much mind to the place. It gave me the, heebie-jeebies, as it were.
Understandable. Okay. So, looking at this, looking at Valor, like, I take it she's a paladin as well, since she's a member of the Order or a fighter or something.
Yeah, most likely some sort of like knight or paladin or something.
Even though she's been for a lot, does it look like she's like a tough person?
I mean, she's like pretty like intimidating, right? Like big, broad shoulders, well muscled. Although you can see like there's been some like atrophy in that regard from whatever the hell attacked her. But she does seem to be like rather like hardy in that sense. Obviously,
like a high
trained
high
fighter.
level. High level.
I mean, you have no like concept of such things really. Like she looks like a a competent fighter, like a like a knight, right? So like she's not like a squire or something like that. She's gone through all that and like she has like a knighthood.
I see. I know.
Level 10, James.
Sorry.
She's level 10, James.
Oh, nice.
No,
I'll sort of
that's
like,
right.
so I'll sort of like nod and I'll say it's like, well, when this creature or whatever was draining you of your life force, you say like you weren't able to fight back and you blacked out and you just woke up here, right?
She sort of nods and says, the creature caught me by surprise. It was, well, I remember a substantial amount of pain, and I was trying to swing at it, but it was quick. It's difficult to get a hold of, especially considering as I wasn't exactly fully outfitted for a fight. I was just reading a tome. Didn't expect to be beset upon.
Do you remember doing anything that may have broken the connection, or because if not, I have to wonder if maybe just your natural constitution and hardy nature maybe just allowed you to withstand the assault.
And he just sort of shakes her head. Says, I don't remember much. Only that it managed to make relative short work of me as far as things are concerned. I remember it hurt a lot, and I felt quite drained. The experience made it hard to stay on my feet. I was dizzy, felt fatigued.
I know, and I'll say,
Sluggish.
right. I sort of turn to the rest, and it's like, any further questions for the lady? Either of you?
Not that I can come to think of.
You there, Zach? Guess he went BRB
Zerg.
still. It did say he had to go BRB quickly. Alright, well, I don't think I can think of any more questions. I suppose Val would say it's like, well, I think that's all the questions I have at the moment. Is there anything you'd like to mention further?
She just sort of shakes her head. Just sort of says, "Be careful if you're going after whatever this thing was." Says, "I'm no slouch, and it even managed to take me out. Granted, it had the element of surprise, and I wasn't exactly equipped for a fight, but I would be prepared."
I nod. Thank you for the warning. We'll let you rest, and wish you a swift recovery.
She sort of nods.
All right, and that I suppose I'll bid her good day, make her way out.
And should your recovery be very quick, we wouldn't mind some assistance.
Yeah. Take a long rest.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, I know this is just an order hospital. Maybe I'll try and find one of the guards or whatever, and I'll be like, could you tell us where you would keep a book or a piece of evidence like this, where we could go and find it, or at least ask someone who knows about this.
Yeah, I mean,
sort of thing.
if you're asking around, they know you've been sent to investigate this this occurrence. Yeah, they have basically an armory in a nearby building that they also own. That's kind of attached to this temple that they can show you.
Oh, okay.
Just
yeah.
Locked up the book inside, just on the off
Make her way.
chance.
Yeah, make her way over there to have a look at the book then.
Sure. As you you make your way there, they kind of open the vault and allow you inside. You can see there's armor and weapons basically stored around here, all gleaming and well polished. And then on a table in the center, there's just this single book, kind of a little bit out of place. You notice that it seems to be bound in this sort of dark, cracked black leather, and there is a symbol carved on the front of it with this sort of sinister yellowish coloring to it.
While we're in this very important room, do they give us is there a guard with us, or a handler, or the caretaker, keeping an eye on us that we can talk to him maybe?
I mean, yeah, there's probably a guard to the vault or whatever, a knight, just keeping an eye on you, making sure you're not up to anything crazy.
I'll sort of turn to the knight after I see the book, and I'll say it's do you get many tomes like this that you deem it worth locking up?
He says, can't say that we do. This is a bit of a special case. Tomes such as these, normally we just burn or destroy outright. But this one was involved on attack of one of our own.
Understandable. Would I be able to recognize the symbol, Brad?
Are you a warlock?
No.
No.
You should have said yes.
I'll say to the guard, and I was like, do you, and he says, I don't take it you know what the symbol on the book means, do you?
And he says, I recognize it. And he says, dark symbology, it is. He says,
I'm back, sorry.
It is the sign of Hadar, the old one.
That's the symbol of Hadar, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And it says, and is this god or demon or whatever very dangerous?
It says, incredibly so. It is a powerful thing that dwells beyond the stars, in a place known as the Far Realm, beyond our comprehension. It was...
And I'll say, and I guess I'll sort of ask, and it's and what sort of people would worship such a being?
It says, cultists, lunatics, raving madmen, doomsayers, and doombringers.
I see.
They
And I'm sort of
they pledge their service to foul entities in exchange for power.
Right.
What
Well-
was that letter mentioned? Doom Raiders?
And I'll sort oh yes, good point. It was worth a shot. And I sort of whispered to him, I was like, have you ever heard of a group called the Doom Raiders?
He just sort of shakes his head. Cannot say that I have. He
Fair
sort of like
enough.
thinks for a moment. Let me. Nope. Yeah, he just shakes his head.
You don't have an inspiration for that role, do you?
Why would I use it on that?
It'd be very helpful.
Because you like us, Brad, don't you? All right, fair enough. Well, anyway, I suppose I would say it's like, well, only one thing to do, and I'll sort of like, as I make my way over to the book, I'll pause briefly and I'll turn to him again. I'll say, I know Valor was reading this, so I take it reading the book won't cause any undue effects that I'm not expecting, provided it's not enchanted or anything like that.
He just sort of shrugs and says, a number of our members have since examined the book, read some of its passages, found them rather detestable, but it has made no concerted attacks against any who have looked upon its pages since Valor.
I know, it's very well. And I'll sort of like crack open the book and I suppose I'll flip through a few pages, Brad. I think it's all just like crazy evil ramblings.
It's like a lot of just like undecipherable madness and like talking about beings from beyond the stars and doom basically upon the realm and just cultist ramblings basically.
Is it possible to maybe try and, I don't know, figure out whereabouts Valor was reading before she was attacked? Like maybe like a page is torn when she it was quickly ripped from her hand or something like that.
There is like there's like a ribbon basically like tucked between a couple of the pages about like halfway through.
Oh, okay, that makes it easy then. So I guess I'll turn to that, thinking that's probably where Valor left off, and I'll just try and read those 2 pages. Does anything stand out? Do I need to make an investigation roll or anything?
No, so like looking at that, there's like nothing on those 2 specific pages that like really reads to you as any different than anything else on any of the other pages. There's like some diagrams basically of these like constellations and like it's like just a bunch of nonsense. It's actually kind of like it's giving you this like uneasy feeling just like reading it. You're worried that just like reading this madness might affect you in some way.
Oh no. Before I start ritual casting, I suppose I'll ask first, and it's like, is this book magical at all? Do you know?
He says, we do not have methods to check such things ourselves.
Okay. Well, I suppose then I will spend 10 minutes to ritually cast detect magic.
Sure.
I suppose I'll continue just like trying to flip through the book a little bit as I do it.
Sure, yeah. All right, yeah. So you ritually cast detect magic. At the end of it, as your senses sort of open to the weave and you begin like looking over the book, you can see basically that there does appear to be some sort of magical circulation almost through the book, as if there's like power like coursing through it through almost like these veins almost it looks like magic like traveling through like the spine and the pages and whatnot. The magic itself, as you like focus on it, doesn't appear to be any sort of magic that you recognize. It doesn't like register as any like specific school or theory of magic. It just seems to be like magic kind of flowing through this book. You're not quite able to get a read on like what exactly the purpose of it is.
Right. So this book has magic flowing through it, but it's not a magic I recognize.
No.
Could it be determined if I were to identify it?
Perhaps.
Okay. Well, I don't have a pearl. I also don't have it prepared, so I guess I can probably do that tomorrow. Very well. I'll sort of like say to the boys, and I'll say, this book appears to be magic, or well, it has magic flowing through it, I should say, but I can't quite determine its school or its purpose. If I were to obtain a pearl, you know, like our friend Arya, and identify it more thoroughly, then I might be able to get something out of it, though it's hard to say for sure.
Well, we could go and see if we can find the vendor who sold the book, meanwhile.
Yes, I was going to say, let's continue following our other leads for the day, and I suppose if we're still stuck, I can come back tomorrow and do things a bit more specific.
This was the knight
well,
is sort of as you're like kind of gearing up to leave. The knight sort of says, if you would like, seeing as you are investigating this on behalf of the Watchful Order, you may take the tome into your possession so to serve your research more thoroughly.
Alright, boys, big question. Do we carry the scary Hadar book with us?
If we do, we should not separate. Possibly at all.
That's what I'm thinking as well, yeah?
If the book decides to turn nasty, we should all be able to fight it together.
Fight the action. Oh, actually, yeah, I mean, that might happen. I'll sort of like say to the guards, like, well, I suppose that could be helpful. Do you have a lockbox or anything like that we can keep it in? I'd rather not just carry it around freely.
He sort of thinks for a moment. Says, I'm sure I could find a small coffer to store it in. A moment, and he kind of begins like rummaging around through some of the stuff in the room before eventually he finds like it's a little bit oversized for like the purposes of like just storing a single book in it. Like, it's a full like 25-pound like chest basically, but it's the best they have to like give to you.
Does it have a lock on it? At
yes,
least?
Yeah, that has a locking mechanism on it.
All right, good enough. And I'll say that would do lovely. Thank you. We'll return these when we're done, of course.
And he just sort of nods.
Alright, lock it in the lockbox.
Sure thing.
Who do I want to carry this, though? Do I want to carry it?
We'll say it weighs it weighs 30 pounds total, 25 for the chest and 5 for the book itself. It's a big head.
I could carry that.
I mean, I'm worried about this book. What it's done so far is suck the vitality out of people, right?
Yeah.
How much vitality do you have, Oliver?
Plenty.
Plenty? Okay. If you're sure.
If you're sure, yeah, Oliver can carry it. Hold on to this, Oliver. It'll definitely do not drop it. Or open it.
I won't.
Alright. Okay, so after that, like, I suppose I'll say to the guard, and it's like, well, thank you for seeing us here. Do you know where we could find Arnold?
He just sort of thinks for a moment, and he just sort of says, I assume you are speaking of Valor's companion. He says, he kind of nods and says, he should still be in the barracks this time of day.
Ah, thank you. We'll make our way there.
All right. So as you leave, basically this like vault, they lock it behind you, wishing you a good day. And I think as you head off, presumably to the barracks, then.
Yeah.
I think as you head off to go find the barracks and Arnold, that is where we shall end things off for tonight.
All right.
And then we will return next week. So, who? Which of the two of you, I guess, between
I did
Mike
just
and Zach.
lose inspiration, but there was a large.
Supposed to do it last week.
Yeah, that's true.
Let him do it because
Yeah,
I was like AFK for a lot of that there because I had to go carrying a table.
So, Mike, you shall be in charge of the recap next week, and until then, we will see you all.